Welcome to 75 Stories, a podcast created to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Normandale Lutheran Church in Edina, Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Brent Reichert, and myself, along with my wife Sandy and our two boys, have been members of Normandale since 1993. Some of our favorite memories here at Normandale would include the wonderful church services for the holidays, the boys being involved in choir, of course, confirmation, and being along with them on the chaperoning of the choir tours. That was a great experience. But I guess most of all, we feel like the choir has really been our family. Well, one of my additional favorite memories here at Normandale would be, of course, the project that we all were involved in at the choir level and the congregational level in purchasing a used organ from Bethesda by the Sea in Palm Beach, Florida, and disassembling that organ, packing that organ, and loading it onto a semi-tractor trailer for a trip back here to Minneapolis. It all came about when Raleigh Rutz and his Rutz Organ Company were going to do some work on the organ. And it turns out the organ needed substantial work. And at that particular time, it would have been in 1998, that Raleigh Rutz came upon an article in a music magazine indicating that the church, Bethesda by the Sea, wanted to sell their organ for $100,000. David Clark, of course, explored it, and the decision was made that we would go down there as a choir on our own nickel, and so all of these choir members paid for their airfare, their lodging, their meals, their transportation, and this was a wonderful, wonderful project and a mission and service to the church. So it was quite an undertaking. Many people were involved in loading and moving the organ itself. Now, to give you some perspective of the size of the pipes, literally they ran from 6 inches tall to 40 feet. And so all of these pipes were removed, put in the various places on the pews in anticipation then, of course, of packing and loading the semi. And it was hard work, but people were happy because they were contributing to the church. And we were taking an instrument that we purchased for $100,000. And today, now with some changes, some modifications, and some upgrades, that instrument is worth $4 million. So I'd say it was a pretty sound investment on the part of Normandale. The generosity of the choir members was really shown when David revealed that since we only had $100,000 to work with, that we could not bring the antiphonal organ back with us. And two very, very generous choir members anonymously gave the money, and it was a substantial sum, to also take the antiphonal organ and then have that installed. But I guess what I was most proud of was, of course, all of these individuals coming together, paying their own way, paying for their lodging, paying for their meals. And David Clark and Raleigh Rutz and, of course, others within the group made it kind of a fun experience. And we felt we were really doing something good for the church and creating an organ that would last for years and years and years to come. This 5,000 pipe organ is a far cry and much, much better than the small 2,000 pipe organ that we had. And the story also ends well because we provided our old organ to a church in the North Metro. And so that also found a home. So it's kind of a fitting way to think of the transformation of taking our old organ out, providing that to another church that could use it, and then, of course, buying and disassembling, packing, and loading the organ from Bethesda by the Sea, which still stands and is considered now to be a tremendous instrument. One of the things I really think is important to remember is people did this as a service to the church. My hopes for Normandale, particularly in the areas of worship and music, really are twofold. One, that we would continue to provide tremendous music opportunities to the young people, the young kids, and to also have wonderful opportunities for anyone and everyone who wants to sing in the choir. And I'm going to put a plug in and a request for all members who want to sing. They should seriously consider joining the choir.
We are so glad you joined us today here at 75 Stories. If you'd like to share your own story, please contact Christy Shepard at kshepard@normluth.org. Join us next week for another story, and share this podcast with your friends and family. We are all part of the Normandale community.